All right. Mark chapter 3, verse 20. All right. A house divided cannot stand. All right. That's the title that I have here. All right. Then the multitude came together again so that they could not so much as eat bread. But when his own people heard about this, they went out to lay a hold on of him, and they said, "He is out of his mind." And the scribes came down from Jerusalem, said, "He has Beelzebub, and by the ruler of the demons, he cast out demons." All right. So they're trying to say, remember, the teachers, they are against Jesus. All right. They are against Jesus. And they are trying to say, like, hey, they're trying to start a plot. All right. And they're trying to say, hey, Jesus is controlled by demons. His ruler is the Beelzebub. That's what it's saying here. All right. So they're trying to like get the people to think like, hey, he's false. All right, he's false. Jesus follows demons. All right, that's what he's trying to say here. But when his own people heard about this, they went out and laid a hold of him, for they said he is out of his mind. And the scribes who came down from Jerusalem said, he has Beelzebub, and by the ruler of the demons, he cast out demons. So what is Jesus' response going to be to that? They're trying to say that he's a devil. All right, what is Jesus going to say? All right. By the way, please give me a like to help push out the content. All right, here we go. So he says, how can Satan, so he called them to himself and said to them in parables, how can Satan cast out Satan? So he's saying, how can Satan cast out Satan? Like, how can you work for Satan? How can, why would you cast out demons if you work for demons? It's like, wouldn't it be the other way around? Like, if you were a demon, would you like just, you know, what I could, like, wouldn't you, like, why would you cast out demons? Why would you fight demons if you were a demon? That's what it's saying here. And if Satan has risen up against himself and is divided, he cannot stand, but has an end. So how is Satan? Satan cannot be divided. It's like, hey, I'm kind of demonic, but I'm kind of not. Like, you can't do that. You're in or you're out. So he's saying, and if Satan has risen up against himself and is divided, he cannot stand, but has an end. No one can enter a strong man's house and plunder his goods unless the first binds the strong man, and then he will plunder his house. So actually, how do you so how do you how's it going, by the way? Thank you very much for being on. Please give me a like. That'll help me out so much. All right. So he's saying the first thing you do to pretty much says that if a house is divided against itself, the house cannot stand. All right. So you have to divide the house. All right. That's very important. Do not let your house be divided. All right. So it's saying that if a house is divided against itself, that house cannot stand. As families, if you have a family, you're raising kids, you're married, or whatever it is, do not be divided. Like, I know it's not easy, but try to stick it together. All right. That's the first thing that's gonna happen. They're gonna try to divide you. All right. Demonic, Satan, all that, trying to divide you. All right. You against your wife, you against your spouse. How's it going? I am on Mark chapter 3, verse 20, going down. So I'm currently on verse 24. Mark chapter 3, verse 24. All right. So I kind of just randomly chose this. All right. And Jesus here, they're trying to say that Jesus is demonic. But Jesus is like, why would somebody demonic cast out demons? All right. A house that's divided cannot stand. All right. So that's something important to understand. It's like, hey, you have to be united. All right. Be united in your home. Have God in your homes. If you're married with your wife as well, be united. Do not get divided. That's the beginning of the downfall. No one can enter a strong man's house and plunder his goods unless the first binds the strong man, and then he will plunder his house. All right, so you gotta get rid of the strong man first before you plunder the house. So do not divide. Make sure you keep your house in whole. And then Jesus goes on to say, "Surely I say to you, all sins will be forgiven the sons of men and whatever blasphemies they may utter. But he who blasphemes against the Holy Spirit never has forgiveness, but is subject to eternal condemnation, because they said he has unclean spirit." You can't tell somebody holy they have unclean spirit. All right, you can't say that. because they said he has an unclean spirit. They're trying to say that Jesus is an unclean spirit here. All right.